Polite Inquiries, SCG.
Finish.
Jaideep says, Eddie Cowan fixed his own batting, allegedly. Doesn't say that, but can he fix the Indian bowling?
No.
Can anyone fix the Indian bowling?
Not this attack.
Pankaj Singh?
In Australia. No, I think the problem is they've got airspeed with a few of their bowlers. They just haven't moved the ball. The ball has not moved off the straight for their fast bowlers. And when you come on good wickets with even pace and even bounce, it's a long day.
And Ryan Harris almost straight away got one to move, and you just went, what? They had 2 days in India and just nothing happened. It was so frustrating.
So what gets me is how good he is in India and how good he is in the UK. He must be half fit because...
he was getting slower and slower.
That was like, I've seen you bowl and it's pretty embarrassing. But you could have trundled in and he kind of got what he deserved in the end. They started slogging him because he is one guy that could knock over a top order. If the ball's swinging, he can knock him over.
Yeah.
Swings it both ways, beautiful skill, but short of a gallop and he's been pretty average, hasn't he?
Well, there was that moment where he was bowling so slow, I just thought the ball was going to stop midway through and the batsman was going to be able to tap it on the head.
I know. Someone tweeted that if he wasn't happy with the ball, he could run down and get it before it got to the batsman.
Tanya says, hey Jared Kimber, how excited are you standing next to Ed Cowan? Prasanna says, when are India going to start playing?
How excited? Scale of 1 to 10.
8.
What about out of 77?
64. Prasanna says, when are India going to start playing Test cricket? That seems a bit unfair.
That's a cheap shot.
They were there for 2 days. I mean, it's not
shot.
T20.
You know what? I've actually been really impressed with how well they've played in certain parts of each game.
Session.
Compared to where they were 3 years ago in Australia, they've showed a bit more steel.
And they had a much more experienced side then as well. Whereas this time, I think they've attacked a lot and they've tried a lot. They're just not very good and they've got a lot of problems with their game.
Yeah, and the other thing that you forget is when you field for 160 overs, it's bloody hard to get out there and bat. You know, you're tired, you're behind the game, your legs are sore, and then you play a crappy shot like Murali Vijay. You know, we've all been there, me more often than you probably.
I played some crappy shots and I didn't even need to be tired. Hajanath says, his sledging is to unsettle the batsman, then why is the send-off when the batsman is already out? Surely it's to show what great body language that you have if you're Mitchell Starc.
Hajanath, I love you. I make this point quite a bit. If you've won the battle,
it's weird,
your job is to get the batsman out. No need for the But in Mitch Starc's case, I think if it was later in the spell, it was like his 8th over and he'd been bowled in the ground, you wouldn't have got the same reaction. It was 3rd ball of the innings. The captain would have given a rev-up chat, early wickets, the old adage, early wickets and we'll have these guys on toast.
It's a bit of a comeback
ball
test
and you're
as well.
out.
He wasn't expecting to play. But I would say this, when I played Australian club cricket, if you did that, you basically were starting a fight. Any sort of send-offs at all. It's weird that in this series there have been so many send-offs from both sides.
These teams don't like each other.
There's a possibility. Sam Brown says, how often do you get a chance to speak to the selectors and find where you stand in their view?
Well, it's up to the individual to make the call. So everyone has Rod Marsh's phone number in their mobile phone. There's a little Cricket Australia app that you can log into.
I love the fact that you guys have your own little secret app.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm not telling you what happens. It's just for us. So
you can call him.
Absolutely. I called Rod the other day for a chat. And it was very positive, so that was nice to know. They certainly don't pick up the phone and say, you haven't been picked or we are picking you. It's up to the individual. If you want to know what's going on, you give him a call and Rod is probably the most honest bloke you'll ever meet and he'll give it to you straight.
Did he give it to you too straight?
Straight.
Ravinda says, why not ask Rohit Sharma to open the test? Adding responsibility gets the best out of him. I think batting at first drop gets a lot out of him. I think he actually batted quite well, although against Nathan Lyon at times I thought he was going a bit too far. But
why are you so anti-Rohit Sharma?
I'm the most pro-Rohit Sharma person there has ever been.
Anti. I actually think he'd make a good opening batsman because he's got a great defence, plays off both feet. That's where he's had his success in one-day cricket.
He can bat anywhere.
He can.
Because he's a legend.
I think he potentially is as good as Virat Kohli.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I really think he's a good player. I find it funny that people hate him. Because it's just funny.
But why do they hate him? He's a lovely fella. They love Virat, and Virat's sometimes not a very nice fella.
JP says, should cricket pundits treat 100 scored against India the same as Zimbabwe or Bangladesh?
Interesting. You reckon divide by 0.5 maybe? It's only worth 50. Maybe India away from it. You get 100 in India, you've earned it.
Yeah.
Maybe just times those by 2 and halve the ones in Australia. And it would all sort of equal out.
If we start going down that, there's certain things where depending on where you're playing. Then no hundreds in Colombo ever count for anyone.
No, that's right.
So no, I think it's okay. I think they still. I mean, Ashwin was still a challenge for the batsman today.
Bowled beautifully, yeah.
Yeah.
And he will be if they have to bat again, which I think they will. The wicket's still
You
very,
would
very
think
good. He's going to provide a big challenge. His bowling this series has actually been a highlight for the attack, I think. The 3 game, I don't know why the hell he didn't play the first test.
He didn't play the test in England either. It's like they remember him when they're already down in the series. It's very weird. Simon says, do you think Jared Kimber could have made runs on this pitch against the Indian bowling attack?
No.
He never even seen me bat.
Thank God.
But he's probably right. Siddharth says, have you ever wondered how similar Jared Kimber looks to Lance Klusener?
I think it's the Lego Man hair. Because remember Lance Klusener, he was like this, Lego Man. You've got the Lego Man hair going.
I've got slightly bigger shoulders than Lance. Comrade says, if I call you handsome and wish you a happy birthday, will I too be featured on polite inquiries like George Dobell? It's days like this I miss George Dobell.
I miss George Dobell too.
We'll see you tomorrow.